Give us a wave once you get your video connected. My name is Catherine from Michaels. We are so excited to have you all here today. Tell us where you're calling in from while we're waiting for people to dial in. Go ahead and tell us or where you're videoing in from in the chat. We'd love to know where everyone is coming from. We will keep everyone muted per usual classes just to help with background noise. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, please do not hesitate to put them in the group chat. Either we will answer them live for you, we'll answer them on the chat. Oh, wow. Okay. Dallas, California, Maryland, Nevada, Colorado, Illinois. Okay. I think we're definitely at this point hitting every single state. All right. DC, Wisconsin, Vermont. Hey, guys. Welcome, everyone. We still have a couple more people joining. We are so thrilled to have you joining us again today. And if this is your first class with us, welcome. We are so excited to have you. We know that this is kind of your 1 hour away from the world, from work, from your kids. So we are so honored that you want to spend this hour with us. And we are so excited to teach you more about Design Space today. If you're taking notes, don't worry if you you've missed something. This is going to be recorded and this will be posted back up on michaels.com/online classes. So this will be live for you again. And again, questions, comments, concerns, feel free to put them in the chat. We'll answer them as best we can. If someone asks a question and you know the answer, go ahead and answer it as well. We can use all the help we can get. We already have over 550 participants. So this is so great. And again, we're just so excited to have you here. So without further ado, I'm going to hand it off to Joy and Jenny from Cricut.
Hi guys, how is everyone? I see lots of smiles. Catherine, can you hear me okay? I'm getting like one of those unstable connection alerts.
Me too.
I can hear you and I got it as well. Okay. You can hear us. Can y'all hear us? Okay.
Hi,
some waves.
I'm Jenny, and Joy and I are hosting today's Cricut Classroom online, and we really wish we could be live and in person with each one of you, but since we're protecting each other and in lieu of keeping each other safe, I know we have to be physically distant in a way, and this is a great way for us to connect with you, but it doesn't mean we have to be socially distant, right? So that's what's so great about these classes is they're intended for us to have a conversation. So don't be scared to ask a question, raise your hand at any point in time, get our attention, we'll do our best. We have Catherine and Christine and a couple other folks that are going to be on the chat that are answering some questions, and Joy and I will do the same for you too. If this is your first online class, we're doing several of these hosted by Michaels every week on Tuesday around the same time, same bat channel, same bat time. And every class is just a little bit different. We're doing different projects. We might be highlighting Design Space, some things how to do in there like we are today. So just, stay in touch on michaels.com and their event classroom information, and you can see the classes coming up. And if you want to take all of them, come take all of them with us. We'll be here. So we're excited to see you. Last week, we talked just the basics of Design Space. So just as a highlight from last week, we talked about Design Space is really just your tool for designing everything that you want to cut, draw, or score with your Cricut machine. So we talked about just a couple of things like, let's see, what did we talk about? We did the Make It Now projects where you can click on a project and make it immediately in just 3 clicks. And then we talked about adding an image or some text. And then we also talked a little bit about manipulating the layers, like different mats, different materials. We kind of highlighted those things. So this week we thought we'd just dive a little deeper and play with some other more complex things that you can do inside of Design Space. So Joy's going to take it away from here. And like I said, if you have any questions, just let us know and we'll jump in and answer what we can when we can.
Absolutely. Thank you, Jenny. I'm Joy, and we are going to take this dive into Design Space. I'm going to jump right into the program and share my screen, but if you aren't familiar with where Design Space is, or you haven't downloaded it yet, you can go to Cricut.com, type in Design Space, and follow the links to get the program working. This is the program that runs your Cricut machine. So I'm going to share my screen and kind of give you an idea of what the program looks like. And can you guys see it okay? Do you see everything? All right.
Joy, can you quick
see it.
remind us, how did you get here? Just so everybody knows how to get to that spot.
Yes. In order to get here, you would go to Cricut.com and type in Design Space and download the program. So then once it's downloaded, it lives on your desktop, and then you'll have a little green Cricut C that you will click in order to pull it up and see the actual program working. So, so these are the projects I'm going to show you how to do today. A little bit more on some Father's Day projects, because Father's Day is coming up, and I'm going to be able to dive into a few more of the features that lay in the right side of the program over here. So last week we talked about how to use Make It Now projects. We talked about these images that are on the sides over here, and we're going to dive a little deeper into these, along with showing you on the right side how you're going to work some of the tools across the bottom of the bottom right of your screen, and then how to work some of the tools that are on the top of your screen. But I wanted to just show you where we're going to try and go by showing you these projects right here. Okay, so if you're trying to follow along, I have my mouse that I'm moving around, and I'll try and talk through as much as what I'm doing, where I'm clicking and what I'm touching as I'm doing it. So I'm going to go ahead and start a new canvas. I'm going to press on the new button, and it's going to ask me, a project already exists on the canvas with unsaved changes. Do you want to go forward, or do you want to replace it, or what do you want to do? So this way you know you're never going to lose anything that you're working on. And I already have this saved, so I'm just going to go ahead and press save again. And your project might not make this window change right away, but you'll see a green bar that goes across the top. We'll see this throughout the class today. You'll see a little progressive green bar that goes right there, and that way you know Design Space is thinking, and you can just relax and let it go. Sometimes I push buttons more and more and more just because I want it to go, but the best thing to do is just wait for that bar to go. Okay, so just to do a quick review, I am in my canvas space of Design Space. I can go to my projects that I have saved. So if I want to go to something that I've already done, I can visit over into this section right here. It's going to take a few minutes just to load, to think about what I have in there. But I'm going to point out on the side over here, I can also go down here on this side and choose images that I just want to look at. Let's say I don't have any idea what I want to make yet. I can come here to images and see all 100,000 images that are currently loaded in Design Space. And I can start to choose from occasions, themes, all kinds of different ideas. I can also go over here. This is one of my favorite places to go, is just free this week. If you haven't subscribed to Design Space yet, this is where you can find some free content that you can use. But visiting these spaces, just seeing ideas of what projects I can make just from the Make It Now area in Design Space helps me to get motivated and to start thinking about what I could do with whatever project I want to make. Okay, so let's go right to our canvas. So from here, I can go right here to my canvas. I'm going to point out a couple other important things over here. In this section right here, sometimes I think explore means look around, but what it really means is that Cricut has 3 different types of machines. We have a Cricut Joy, we have a Cricut Maker, and we have the Cricut Explore family, which could include an Air 1 or an Air 2. So you want to choose the type of machine that you're working with. Today we're going to use the Explore family. And I'll just go right over here to the canvas. So I've just clicked right here on this spot that says canvas, and this whole canvas piece comes up. Now, I know already that I want to make a shirt for Dad, and I've gone through images, and I found an image that I really liked. Since I had clicked on free this week last time, I'm coming into the free this week again, but I want to go back to all the images that I can look at. And because I had found this and written down the number, I'm going to type in the number of this particular image that I want to use. I could also do a search for it as well and find it, but this is a little faster. So I want to use this image that has the mountains and it has a car driving up to the mountains, but I don't want to use that car. So I'm going to show you how to take that out. And I want to put it on a circle background so that on the t-shirt, there's a circle with this, the mountains, and then I want to add a little message for Dad, and I want to add the kids' names. So we're going to do a few fun things here. So I'm going to click on this, and it's going to get a green box around it. Now, I do have a subscription, so this is granted. If you don't have a subscription and you're looking at something that has a price, it'll tell you what the price is, and you can pay for it there, or you can have your subscription. And then I'm going to go down here to the bottom right where this green button is, and I'm going to click Insert Image, and that image is going to come up. So now I want to add a circle because I want this image to be in my circle. So I'm going to choose from the shapes down here on the left side. I'm going to click on shapes, and then I'm going to choose a circle. Now that's going to come up too small. I want this circle to be bigger. So there's a couple things that I can do with this circle. I can, and I'm going to move it over a little bit here so we can see it separate from the design. I can take these arrows that are here on the corner. And I also want to point out one other thing. Let's say I didn't have this layer selected or this circle selected. If I click off of it, it won't have that square bounding box around it. If you're trying to figure out how do I get that, just click on it and it'll show up. Or you can go to the right side, and here you'll see these are the two different images that I have on my canvas. So I can just click on it that way. So now I can change the side by just holding and pulling on my mouse. So I would do a click and then pull my mouse out to get these arrows down here on the right. And this will keep the shape of an oval because the bounding box is locked. The proportions will always be the same. Let's say I want this to be an oval. I would then click over here on this lock button, click that, and now all of a sudden my green arrows show up, and now I can squish it up, or I can squish it over and down and around, and I can make it into whatever kind of shape that I want it to be. So I'm going to go over here and lock this though, and I know that I want it to be a 9" by 9" circle because that's what's going to fit well on the t-shirt that I want to make. So the easiest thing I think is to come up here to the top of your canvas where it says size, and you have width and height. And this little guy right here, this lock, does the same thing. If I unlock it, then it doesn't have to be symmetrical. But if I click lock, then everything needs to be symmetrical. So now I can click and highlight this width and type in 9. And if I click off of it, it's automatically going to change. Why didn't it automatically change for me? Let's do that again. I'm going to click 9 here. I'm going to click 9 on this side too because I want it to be symmetrical. And it should be, because I had unclicked the bounding box before. If you ever have trouble like this, unclick your bounding box and it should come back. All right. Let's get it back into a circle shape and lock it here and lock it up here. And we want it to be 9 by 9. If it will not work, I will delete it and just start over again, which is always the best thing, right? If anything doesn't work, it's not broken, you haven't broken it, just delete it and start over again. But that's what I had to do. So now I have my circle. It's 9 by 9. And now I want to add these mountains on top of it. But oh wow, what's happening here? I can't get this to go on top. It's going behind. So I want this to go on top. I'm going to come up here to this little box here that says arrange, and I'm going to say move forward. I want this to be on the top. So now I can put that on top of my circle. And I'm going to move all of these things a little bit over here. Well, not too far over. Okay, now this is nice, but I kind of want the edges of this image to fit the circle. So I'm going to just make this image bigger. Now I grabbed those arrows that I showed you a minute ago and I just pulled on them. So I'm going to look to see how big do I want to make it? What's getting cut off on these sides? If I don't make it big enough, I'm going to get these weird kind of pieces that are going to cut odd. So I want to make it big enough that I don't get any of those weird pieces cutting. Like I still have one right there. So let's go a little bit bigger and scooch things around so that it gets where we like it. And I think I like it like that. But I said before that I didn't like this car driving up here. I don't want that part in this image. So because if I don't have this highlighted, my options down here on the bottom right don't show up as options. If I choose my image and I want to take something out, I use this tool down here on the very bottom right called Contour. And if I click it, I can see my image comes up in here and I can highlight different things. Now I know I want to take the car pieces out and the road out, so I'm just going to click on those. And I'm going to move this over a little bit. We'll scoot, actually. I'm going to do undo real quick because I want to show you something. So if you want to undo, you can press the arrow here, or you can do the Command Z on your computer. But I want to be able to show you what I'm doing at the same time that this is on the screen. So I'm just going to move this image down a little bit and re-click on Contour. So now we can see the road. And as I click on these pieces, I can see down here in my image that things are going away. So I'm going to click on the road and the taillights of this car. And now all of that is taken out. Now, my natural instinct is to then click hide all contours because that's not what I wanted in my image. But if you do hide all contours, it'll hide everything. So all I have to do now is just close this box. And now those pieces are gone. And I'm going to move my design back up to the place where I liked it, which is about right here. And then I'll make it a little bit more over. So now I want to cut these pieces, this mountain scenery, out of this circle. Because right now, imagine they're two different pieces. They're just sitting one on top of the other. I want to cut it out. So now I'm going to highlight both of these together. If I just click on one layer or one of them, I'm only going to get one at a time. So I'm going to take my arrow out here and I'm going to click and hold and drag my arrow so that I get both of these layers together. When I do that, this slice tool down here, all of a sudden all these other tools show up. My slice tool will show up and all I have to do is click on slice. Well, you might say to yourself, well, nothing really happened. It just blinked. But you can see that now I have the circle right here. And what you can't see is that Design Space just merged these things together. So now all I have to do is click on this top layer and take it away. And I'm just going to delete that. And then this outside one, now I'm just clicking and holding and dragging. And that's highlighting what was on the outside. I'm going to take that away. And then this is actually another piece right here inside my circle. I want to take that away. Kind of like magic, right? I think that's the coolest thing ever. So that's what I like about Design Space. Now I want to say something about best dad ever, right? So I'm going to type in best dad ever. And I want to choose a font for this. I don't really like the font that it just gave me. So I'm just highlighting what's in my text square. Oh, and to get the text, I didn't tell you guys how to get the text. I just clicked over here on the text box and this showed up and then I could type in there. Now I'm going to go up to font right here. Again, you might be overwhelmed by all the stuff that's here, but really once you start understanding and playing around with it, you'll be like, oh, that's not so hard. So I know that I want this font that is called Avenida. Whoops, Avenida. I went over to the search over here and I started to type in the name of it and it just comes up right here. Now this is a single layer cutting. Last time we talked about the different layers. I want a single layer font. So I'm going to click that. Oh, I didn't highlight my word. This is what we want to be in. There we go. Now, as I look at that, you know, I kind of want in my text, I think I would rather have a lowercase b. So I can go back into my text box and just tap in the area that I want and then delete and type a lowercase b and do the same thing on the E, delete, click E, and then I'm gonna add an exclamation point because I think that looks cute.
Hey, Joy, we have a really good question.
Oh.
Go ahead, Jenny.
I thought this was a great question. Are there any times when contour is not available on an image? Is that what you were gonna ask, Catherine?
It sure was.
Yes, there are times where an image is not an image where you can take pieces out of it. If it's an image that you can't do that with, you'll know right away because the contour button will not show up as an option. So definitely something to play around with as you're choosing your images. Good question. Okay, so even though I did lowercase, in this particular font, it's going to stay as an uppercase. So that's just the way that font works. Now, I'm going to cut it out of this circle up here. So I'm just going to change the color. And all I'm doing is coming up here to the piece up here, and where this black square is, I can click on it and I can change the color. And I'm going to do just a yellow because it's my favorite color. And it shows up really well. Now, I want this text to cut out of this circle the same way that we did before. I'm going to lower this down a little bit because that toolbar is going to get in the way. So we're going to come down here, and first of all, it's too big. So I'm going to take those arrows, and I'm going to leave everything locked, and I'm going to make it a little bit smaller. And I want to center this in the center of my circle. Now, how am I going to get it to be, how am I going to get this text to go around? We're going to come back up here, and I'm leaving the text highlighted. We're going to come up here to the curve, and this bar is going to come up. And I'm just going to scoot the bar over, and look at that. The text just goes. So now I can click off of that and position that exactly where I want it. And I like it there. Now these are two different pieces. So again, I'm going to highlight both of them. I'm going to come over here to the slice again, hit that slice, and then I'm going to pull off Best Dad Ever. And I'm going to pull out what I sliced, Best Dad Ever. So now I can keep those. They are new files here. So let's just say I want to have those as something to cut later on. I can keep them, or I could choose to just make them not be visible by clicking that eyeball right there. That means that when this design goes to get cut, those pieces won't show up if I don't want them to show up. Now, so now this is all one piece, and now I want to say the kids' names because I think that's super important. So I'm going to go over here to text again, and I'm going to put in the kids' names. Now, in my case, I'll add my children's names, and I like to use an option with the number 8 on my keyboard. I press the option and 8, and I get this little dot. And my kids are Virginia and Devin. And my font is still the same. So that's what I want. Oops. Where did it go? See, this is one of those moments where I'm like, what happened? So Design Space was behind me. So I'm just gonna start that over again and add them in. Virginia, option 8, get that little dot. Devin, and I still need to slow down and wait. So this might be just an internet thing using the Zoom and everything at once. And like I said, this is where I start pressing buttons because I get impatient, but I'm not sure. Oh, there they are. Okay, now I'm gonna do the same thing again and change them to yellow. See, that's why I say I keep pressing buttons because I get impatient, but I probably should have looked up here and that little green bar was probably going and I wasn't looking. So now I like their names to be a little bit bigger. Yes.
We have another good question from Tan. She said, why did she color the font yellow if she wanted to slice? And I think we're really just showing the opportunity to change the color, number one. So the variation on your canvas, you can actually see the font. If it's the same color as the image, you won't see it because it's overlapping in the same color. So you can change it any color you want.
Right, the color doesn't matter. It absolutely doesn't matter. I just, like, as somebody who's designing something, I like to see a visual contrast so I can completely understand what my design is going to look like. So it's your choice. You can change the color or not as you please, but it is going to cut out. So it's not going to show up as a color. Good question. Okay, so I'm going to center them, the name here, and I think I actually think I want them to be a little tiny bit smaller. And Virginia's name is much longer than Devin's name. Okay, so now this time I'm going to go to the curve, and this time I want it to curve the opposite way. So I'm going to go the negative way on the curve feature and kind of get that where I like it. I'm looking at sort of how things space out along the edges and along that center. And for some reason I just clicked over to the other shape. So I'm going to click back to here, and I want this curve just a little bit less of a smiley face looking. Okay, so that's how I like it. Then I would come press down and highlight those two pieces together, and then my slice is going to show up, and then I can take the names off and then take this piece out. Now,
Hey, Joy.
here's something that, yes.
Quick, this is a really good question. If you make the text white, will it cut out without slicing?
Yes, yes.
It'll still cut.
Oh no, I see what you're saying. If you just make it white and put it on top of that circle, no. What will happen, so let's say this text is white. I'll just make it white. And I put it on top of this design here, right? Let's pretend I hadn't cut the other part out. And I'm gonna make this one so I can't see it. If I were to send this to the machine to cut, it's gonna cut this part on white and the other part on whatever other color I choose. So slice is important because what it's doing is it's taking space off or away from the previous piece that you had. So just making it white doesn't do the same thing. It looks like it's white just because it's like an absence of material on the canvas. So if I move the canvas around, you can kind of see the grid mark underneath the pieces that I cut out. So now something that's cool is now choosing your material that you might want to use. And I went ahead and picked a couple things. I'm not going to make this we're not going to show cutting today. I'll show you how to get to the cutting stage. But I was thinking about what would this look really cool to cut out of. And I know I'm on a screen share, but I'll do this again at the end. But in Infusible Ink, there are some really cool patterns that you could do. So if I cut this from a pattern, there's also really cool patterns in iron on too. So if I use like a buffalo check or something like that, this could be really an added extra dimension, is that pattern that you can add. Okay, so we have everything right here. Now I would go to make it. And because this is going to be a t-shirt, the most important thing I can do is to remember to click mirror. That's absolutely key. And then I would hit continue. And I'm gonna wait for my device here. I know that my Air 2 has this name to it. I have lots of devices hooked up to this particular machine. It's gonna take a minute. It's thinking, the arrows are going, but I wanna show you how to select your material, because once you get to this point, you're selecting your material. And then make sure my machine is still turned on. Yes, it is still turned on. Oh, there it is. So now it's gonna do the material. See, this is where patience is so important, and I sometimes am lacking in patience. So I have to just wait. Remember to be patient. But it'll say my material, and then I can choose, like if I want this to be a glitter iron-on, or if I want it to be infusible ink, or if I want it to be all the different types of iron-on materials that you can think of. Or if I want to do this out of a vinyl, let's say I don't want to put this on a t-shirt, I want to put this on my husband's car, because I think that would be super cool. So I could do it out of a vinyl, or I could make it out of a cardstock. I could put it on the front of a card. I can, if I'm a quilter and I want to just cut that out of fabric, I can, or felt, or there's like all these materials that I can cut from. And look at all the different types of iron-on. Michaels has all of this. So one of the cool things here, sometimes with the Sport Flex, if this is for my husband and he's a runner, and I want it to be out of an athletic shirt, and I want that iron-on to stretch with him, I would choose Sport Flex. But there's so many different choices that you can make. For right now, I'll just choose, let's find infusible ink transfer sheet. Done. My Air 2 has already made a little click. So then I would load my material, and then I would hit cut, and then I would just make my project. So I think, given the time that we have, I have showed you the tools that we wanted to show. I'm going to stop sharing this, and I'm happy to answer any questions. I know that's a lot of information. It's a lot to see, but we can hop back and forth if you have questions.
Hey Joy, there's been a couple of good questions on this. Why would you choose slice instead of attach?
That's a very good question. Okay, so the difference, attach allows you to say, I have these objects on my canvas. Here, let me go back to sharing my screen again.
Also, while you're sharing, just a note to everyone watching, you do have an option to minimize kind of your thumbnail of all the different viewers, and that might help you see her screen more in totality. So if you're having trouble seeing some of her buttons, I would recommend just kind of playing around with the video thumbnails.
Got it. Okay, so let's say, here's the difference between, imagine I have 3 things on my canvas. And when I go to hit make it now, if I don't attach those 3 things together, because Cricut is super smart, this program is super smart, it's going to just take those items and position them wherever it wants to conserve as much material as possible. And sometimes that means like letters will get separated, or image shapes that I want next to each other will get separated. So I'm just going to put a couple of circles on here. Again, another good opportunity to say, well, I'm gonna make this a little smaller, but a good opportunity to say duplicate. And I put these 3 circles. I want these to be just right next to each other like that, like on a die. Let's make this not visible.
Joy, can you tell us what font you're using? There's been a few questions about that. They like it. We like it.
Oh, we like it? It's called Avenida Com. When I come back, I'll show you what that, we'll go to that font. But okay, so let's say I want these to be exactly this way, right? I set it up on my canvas. This is how I want it to be. Oh, I need to scooch it over because let's say I want it to cut on the right side of my map because this is how much material I have left from something previously I cut. When I hit that make it button, if I don't attach them, look what happens. Design Space will say, top left corner, here's the best way to position these. So I'm going to cancel that. And then I'm going to click and drag my arrow and group these together and hit attach. And then I'm going to hit make it. Now those three stayed together. And since they're one group, I can say, no, I want them over here, or I want them down here. I want it over here. So that's how you can kind of move those around and put them where you want them. And that's what attach does, which is different than slice. Now, we can also, we can do something here. So if I go text and you wanted to know what that text was, we'll use Jenny's name again. That particular text is called Avenida Calm. So up here, when I go choose it, let me type it back in. One of the things that happens, and I totally get this because I'm guilty of this, there's like 100 million fonts in here. And I know I have a tendency to exaggerate. 100 million is not how many are in there. But it feels like there are so many. And choosing them can be super hard. So sometimes you just want to kind of have somebody give you a good idea. But it is a cute font, isn't it? But if I were to just take this, now I like the way it's positioned, I like the sizing and everything. If I just hit make it, what do you think's gonna, oh, it came together. Look at that. Sometimes it'll take the letters and just jumble them around. So attaching these, oh, you know why? Because they were a group. So if they were ungrouped, oh, let me show you, all right, I'm gonna show you another trick. This led to a good question actually in the end. And let me find it. I'm not gonna find it fast. Okay. Oh, because I already hit ungroup. All right. Either way, we can go from here. So remember how I hit that curve button before? Here's an advanced button. If you hit the advanced, all right, let me highlight this group. Let's go. Why don't I have the button now? Group. You guys, see, it's always the challenge when you try to do something on the fly, when I try to teach on the fly. Okay, ungroup that. I'm gonna go here. This is just a good trick when you're trying to do something with like cursive letters. This is not a good font to show you this in, so I apologize. But if you're using a cursive like a brushed and the letters are each separate from each other, this is a great tool to use. So let's just see if I can do this really fast. We'll do Jenny again. And we'll go up here into our fonts, and I'm just gonna say, search me a calligraphy type font. Okay, I didn't get any options. So let's do brush. Oh, I have some options. Okay, so let's pick this one that's kind of cursive-y, right? But it separates all those pieces apart. Now my advanced tool shows up. I can click that. I can ungroup the letters, and then each little letter shows up on its own. So now I can take these letters, because now if I were to do the make it, it's gonna put, see, the cursive J is over here and Jenny's here, and then the rest of her letters are over here. It's all a mess. That's not what I want. So I want to come here and connect these letters together, and I'm just gonna do this super fast and just show you a couple of things real quick. So Jenny, this will be one of those fun fonts that kind of jumps your letters all over. Now, I can now group those together. Now I hit group, And then if I hit make it, what it will do is it will group them to, it didn't group them together. It should group them together. But one of the problems is I didn't, like these connections here are each individual still cut separate spots. So I'm gonna delete this. And then what I want to do here to make sure that all of those letters come together as one word, so that when I go to take it off my vinyl or my iron-on, it's all one, I want to hit weld. Because what that does is it makes sure that there are no cut places between my letters. So imagine if I had a square, this is the best way to show it, and I have a triangle, and I want it to be a house. See, my little progress bar is going. That means, wait a minute, Joy, hang in there. I'm going to show you guys. What happens is, if I have the triangle and I have the square, you're going to see a cut line. So if I wanted to make this into a house, bring it down. If I want to make it into a house, see, there's a cut line right there. So it's going to cut a triangle, and it's going to cut a square, and I would then have to put that together as a house. What I want to do is have, if I go to my weld, well, if I hit attach, okay, let's attach. It still has that cut line right there. I haven't achieved what I wanted to achieve. It's still going to cut separately. So I want to hit weld, and now see how that cut line goes away? What you can't see clearly down here in Jenny's name is when I hit weld, it made sure all those letters connected together. So hoping that makes sense. If you guys are having trouble when you're sending it to cut and everything's getting separated, then that should help you to kind of understand a little bit more about why they're jumbling up. All right. Did I answer that well, or did I go too far on my tangent?
There's so much to do, Joy. It's overwhelming. I'm seeing lots of smiles and nodding of heads, and I'm getting text messages from a couple of friends that are like, wow, my mind is blown. I had no idea I could do this on Design Space.
Yay! Good.
So, I mean, there was a good question that Tom had. He wanted to know, is there a way to nudge the font letter over, like without dragging it manually? Can you use your arrow keys?
Yes.
That way you can get a little bit more precise movement through like a pixel at a time, for example.
You can, I mean, in my head, I always think, like if I use that arrow key, it's just gonna scooch it a smidge, but it kind of snaps to the grid. So when you hit with the arrow, it might jump further than you wanted. And so clicking and holding your arrow and nudging it with your mouse is a little bit more precise than the arrows, but the arrows, yep, they work. You could do that.
Joy, one of my favorite questions that I've seen, because I have personally encountered this, is weld the one thing that you cannot undo?
Okay, so yeah, that is the, all right, I'm gonna share my screen again. I know, people are like, if I hit that weld button, is the world gonna end? And the answer is no. So, I mean, now if I were to have cut this and saved it, I cannot change it. But if I hit that back arrow, look, well, and then if I ungroup, then I can separate, then they're still attached. But you get the idea. I can take those apart. So once you hit weld, the world is not over. However, if you're concerned before you hit weld, like if you just want a backup plan, then I would say duplicate. Just duplicate your project. Ta-da, he's safe. I come over here and I weld this, and huzzah, I love it. So now it stays, and I can just either make this one not visible, or I can, by this X up here, I could delete it and make it go away entirely. So does that make sense?
That is great. I have two other really great questions, because a lot of people were very interested to see, again, how you got that dot between the two names of your children.
Oh, you guys, you can do this in your regular typing. I found this out somewhere along the way, and I thought it was the coolest thing in the world. On my keyboard, it's I'm using a Mac. So I press the option button and 8. Basically, it takes any, and now not all fonts do this. Not all fonts have like little symbols that go along with the font. Basically, you're accessing the symbols, and that's a shortcut key to that particular symbol. So if you're sending an email to somebody, you know, today, try option 8 and you'll get that dot. Or if you're on a Word document or anything.
Another great question that came through. If you have a project that you've saved, you've cut, you've used at one point, and you want to go back to it, can you still edit that project if you wanted to tweak a few things?
Sure. So let's, again, I'll share my screen to make sure I get the right one here. Otherwise, I just share you guys back. Okay, so if I'm here and I want to go to a project that I've made already, let's go to the one that we did last week. So I can go to that and I can hit this button, customize. So buttons, whenever you see buttons on things, one is sometimes highlighted because that's the one that the software engineers think you're going to use the most. Always look at the other buttons too, because they are something you can click. So I can, oh, now it's also reminding me, hey, remember Joy, you have this thing here. Do you want to save it? Do you want to replace it? What do you want to do with what was already on your canvas? We'll hit save, and then I can give that a name. So I can call that Michael's class today. And if I leave this checked, that means it's public. You guys could go find it on my profile. So I'll hit save. Although it's got my kids' names on it, you could take that off and put your kids' names on it. So that saved my project, but I still want to go, I gotta wait for this to go away. So now if I still want to go back to another project, and I want to go to this one, and I hit customize, then I can come back in here, and it's like I have the canvas back all over again. So I could move things around, I can change things, I can ungroup things, I could just take one thing that I wanted out of it and use that one part. I could start all over again, I could do whatever I want from there.
Joy, how do you access someone's profile?
I know, you guys, I gotta do that in the next class. I have to remind myself how to access a profile. So tune in next week. That's our cliffhanger. Next week, and we'll show you how to access the profiles. Otherwise, here's what I would do. Go to YouTube and type in, how do you access somebody's Cricut profile? And I should know this. I'm embarrassed I don't, so please forgive me. I apologize.
But it also has to do with how they've saved the file, right, Joy? So it's going to make more sense if we're able to show you how to do that, but we don't have enough time, unfortunately, to do that today.
I know. Yeah.
You guys, you know, there's a massive community of Cricut folks that love to play with Cricut, and similar to Joy, are experts in all of the things. So reach out to your Cricut official Facebook page. You can connect to Michael's as well on Facebook, as well as michaels.com to get recorded information on these classes, which is amazing. There's also some influencers out there like Carly Hall, who does some fabulous how-to videos, also describes different machines and what those are used for different projects. So there is a lot of information out there in the world. So sometimes it's just great to Google and say, hey, I'm looking for this very specific information, and is there anything on there? And you will be happy to find there most likely is information.
Yes. Yes. And also, I think our website is top notch, one of the best I've ever seen. And there's a learn section. So when you go there, you can do Cricut .learn, or it'll prompt you, would you like to learn more about this or learn more about that? There's tons of FAQs in there. So if you have a question, Cricut probably has it answered between Facebook groups and YouTube and our website. So please feel free to check it out. And whenever you start to investigate, like you'll see some other information, you'll be like, oh, I didn't even know I needed to know that. And then that'll kind of take you along in that path. So that's fun.
And
Yeah,
we just would like to encourage you. You know, we get so much great feedback and guidance from you guys. And our whole goal at Cricut is really to give you all of the most advanced tools that we are able to give you to help you design. And admittedly, we are not perfect and we are always working to improve. And that's improving Design Space as a part of it, our software and our platform to make sure that you can do all the things that you want to do. So we love hearing your feedback. So please, if you have, you know, any challenges or you have an idea, let us know. We would love to incorporate it in one of our updates. And I really think the worst thing you could do is get your Cricut machine, whether it be an Explorer, a Maker, a Joy, and not take it out of the box. If you have any friends who have got a Cricut machine and it's still sitting on their like guest room couch or table in a box, pop them and say, hey, open that machine and let me show you what you can do. I think it seems really scary when you learn something new, right? It seems overwhelming, but the great news is you can't destroy anything, right? Get in Design Space and play. Click on all the buttons, see what works, see what doesn't work. Really, the more you play inside of it, the more you'll learn and the more you'll realize there are features that you're going to use for your projects.
Yeah.
We so value.
If you have, or if you are having trouble getting your machine out of the box, go to michaels.com/Cricut101. With the help of Cricut and Carly Hall, we have created a unboxing video for 3 of the machines, and they are so helpful. I've learned from them even. It'll even walk you kind of through your first steps with Design Space. So again, that's michaels.com/Cricut101. It's super helpful for any of the machines that you have, and you just need to get it out of the box.
Do it today.
But anyways, thank you all so much for joining us today. Again, we know this might be your 1 hour off in the middle of the day where you're hiding from your kids or your work or your husband or your partner. And we're just so thrilled that you wanted to spend that hour with us. We love these classes. We love doing everything we can to help you making, creating. You know, again, I know there was some concern. We do have to go a little bit fast on these, but this is recorded. This recording will be shared on michaels.com/online classes along with the past classes. Also, we have a ton of classes constantly going up every day to sign up for. So anywhere from Cricut, or if you want to learn resin pouring, we've got classes for that as well. So we are here to keep you making. And again, thank you so much. Please reach out to us on social, reach out to Cricut on social, Michaels on social. We all have great customer care teams. We are here for you, even if you just need someone to talk to. So don't hesitate to reach out. We love to hear from y'all. And thank you again for joining us today.
Thank you.
Thanks, you guys.
Have a great day.
Thanks.